Hi guys, we're back with another book today, and it's my favorite chocolate. It's Hershey's.
How Milton Hershey brought milk chocolate to America on the corner
And the sign
of Chocolate Avenue.
And the sign is a chocolate bar because it has a bite out of it.
Written by Zipporah Cohen and illustrated by Stephen Salerno. Chocolate was an expensive treat for the rich in the 1860s. Milton's family was very poor. His belly was often empty and his feet were often bare. On market day, Milton looked longingly at the display of treats: sugar plums, molasses, peanut brittle, peppermint humbugs, peerless wafers, horehound sticks. Because his family moved often, Milton attended 6 schools in the 7 years and barely learned to read. When he was 14, he left school to help support his family. Apprenticed to a printer, Milton hated the loud and boring work, so he threw his hat into the printing press to get himself fired. At Royer's ice cream parlor and garden, Milton washed dishes and sheared big cauldrons of boiling sugar water. When he was promoted, he learned to make ice cream, taffy, lollipops, and marshmallows. Candy made people happy, and candy made Milton happy. How wonderful would it be to build his own candy business? At 19, Milton borrowed money to open the Spring Garden Confectionery Works in Philadelphia, about 100 miles from his home. But the price of sugar was high and profits were low. After 6 years, his business failed. At this time, sugar was made from the sugarcane plant and produced mainly in the Caribbean islands. Sugarcane was difficult to plant and harvest, leading to high prices. Years later, sugar would also be made from sugar beets in Europe and America, and its price would drop. Next, Milton opened a candy business further away in Chicago. It failed. This was Milton Hershey in 1876 at age 19. He opened one in the biggest city in America, New York City. That one failed too. It was time to go home. So he failed in Philadelphia, Chicago, and New York. What do you think he did? Do you think he gave up?
No.
No, he did not. But Milton loved candy too much to give up. In a small rented room back in Pennsylvania, he cooked caramels. He wrapped them by hand and he sold them from a pushcart through the streets of Lancaster. Oh, those tricky caramels. Other candy makers used wax in their caramels, but they were hard to chew and stuck to people's teeth. Milton did experiment after experiment, adding fresh milk to make his caramels creamy but not sticky until he got the recipe just right. He cooked up all kinds of caramels: bean-shaped McGinty's, a penny for 10. Fancy Lotus caramels, $1 for a 5-pound box. Gem cracks and roly-polies, caramels for every taste and every budget. Hershey's caramels. His rented room became a factory. His pushcart became a store. Milton realized that the secret to making money from caramels was not to peddle them a few at a time to people walking by, but to sell them in big shipments to stores in other cities and countries. The store became the Lancaster Caramel Company. Soon Milton was selling his caramels to stores in England, China, and Australia. This was Milton Hershey in 1893, aged 36, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, shipping to Australia, China, and England. Despite his success, Milton looked for new ways to make candy. Twin cacao grinder, mixer, duration machine, rolling machine, cacao roasting machine. At the Chicago World Fair, he followed his nose. Knocking table. At the Chicago World Fair, he followed his nose. Oh, the mouth-watering aroma of melted chocolate. The chocolate-making machines from Germany mesmerized Milton. He bought the whole exhibit on the spot and shipped it to Pennsylvania. The very next year, Milton founded the Hershey Chocolate Company. He told his cousin the caramel business is a fad, but chocolate is something we will always have. Milton had a new vision. Could he create delicious milk chocolate in bars just for eating? Affordable milk chocolate for everyone, not just the rich? Milton headed back to the family farm. He mixed chocolate made from cacao beans grown all over the world with milk from dairy cows raised right next door. He stared at the burnt mush. Milton saw that the chocolate, which was high in fat, couldn't mix with the milk, which was mostly water. Making milk chocolate made cooking caramels seem easy. Milton worked from sun up to sundown. He stirred big kettles of milk and sugar for hours in search of the perfect recipe. When he heated the milk to evaporate some of the water, the chocolate tasted burnt. When he used cream instead of milk, the chocolate didn't harden well and spoiled quickly. Milton even changed the kind of cows he raised to one that gave milk with less fat. That helped, though the chocolate wasn't yet perfect. For thousands of years in Central and South America, chocolate was consumed mostly as a bitter drink. When solid dark chocolate was first made in Europe in the 1800s, it was expensive and mostly a treat for the wealthy. Then Nestle invented milk chocolate in Switzerland, but it was still handmade and expensive, and the process was a secret that the Swiss had kept for more than 20 years. He hired scientists. Don't rub your eyes, baby. It's bad for your eyes. I understand. He hired scientists. He hired workers from chocolate companies in Europe to try to learn their secrets, cook and cool, test and taste. Milton and his staff worked day and night on his milk chocolate recipe. Years went by, batch after batch, one failure after another, until finally, Milton in 1900, age 43, America's first chocolate bar, a melt-in-your-mouth milk chocolate. A milk chocolate that stayed fresh on store shelves. Milton sold the first Hershey's bar in 1900. He also sold the Lancaster Caramel Company for $1 million so he could make more milk chocolate. Instead of making his chocolate bars by hand, Milton set up assembly lines in his factory, which divided each step among many workers to make chocolate bars more quickly. With assembly lines, Milton made his milk chocolate affordable for everyone, just 5 cents a bar. He put his chocolate bars in restaurants, drugstores, and grocery stores, not just candy stores, so people could buy them wherever they went. Milk from local cows arrived at the factory daily, where workers combined it with sugar and chocolate, mixed it in 4 days, and then poured it into bar-shaped molds. Just 5 cents. Within a few years, the Hershey's Chocolate Company had a factory running 6 days a week. Got all those trucks that say Hershey. Animal trade. The Hershey's Kiss was born in 1906, named for the kissing sound the drops of chocolate made as they were released onto the conveyor belt. Sold in boxes for just 10 cents, the foil-wrapped chocolate was an instant hit. Hershey's syrup was a sensation too. First made for pharmacists to add to bitter medicines to make them taste better, Milton sold chocolate syrup in cans for families to stir into milk or pour over ice cream. Not everything Milton tried was a success. In the 1930s, the vitamins were discovered. Milton joined the country's vitamin craze, mixing ground beets, celery, parsley, and turnips into Hershey's bars and kisses. One of the employees said that they tasted just about as bad as they sound. Isn't that interesting? It was named after the kissing sound the drops of chocolate made as they were released onto the conveyor belt. So when this little thing would drop the chocolate onto the thing, it sounded like a kiss. Chocolate and caramels made Milton a very rich man, but he never forgot what it was like to be poor. He and his wife, Catherine, created a school to give orphan boys a free education, something he never had. He built an entire town for his workers to live in, with tree-lined streets, libraries, schools, trolleys, a swimming pool, affordable homes, and
a feeder factory.
Even a carousel. Milton and his wife never had children of their own, but they founded the Hershey's Industrial School, now called the Milton Hershey School. Later, Milton donated his share of his company, worth $60 million, to the school. So its mission is to give kids in need a free education that would continue indefinitely. And today, if you stand on the corner of Chocolate Avenue and Cocoa Avenue, the first two streets Milton built, you can still smell the sweet scent of chocolate from the Hershey's Chocolate Factory as it churns out milk chocolate for you, me, and chocolate lovers everywhere. The end. Is this like your favorite book ever? Pretty good, huh? Now you know the story. Have a good night, everybody.